My name is Nkosana, and I was born in Africa, the country. Growing up, I lived in a mud hut. We're tight with Nelson Mandela, and I even had my own pet lion called Simba. I didn't wear any clothes growing up, just a loincloth. And because I'm African, I'm of course a really good long-distance runner and basketball player. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, thankfully, it is. This is actually me in my earlier years. I was born in the African city of Zimbabwe in 1994 and grew up in a middle-income household. I also attended an English-speaking private school. So you can imagine my surprise when I arrived to Brisbane, Australia 13 years ago and heard African-related misconceptions and stereotypes for the first time. I'm now a proud Australian citizen, and although I've been here for 13 years, I still strongly identify as being Zimbabwean and to a greater extent, African. Identifying myself in this way has given me unique insight into how Africa is perceived abroad. I've ultimately come to the conclusion that the negative portrayal of the African continent, the misconceptions and stereotypes I've heard over the years, are largely as a result of the media. You see, for they, the media, the better story, the story that will shock and get more attention, is the story that portrays Africa as a place of death, disease, and despair. This focus on negativity results in a negative perception of the continent, which in turn has negative implications for Africa and its people. Take, for instance, the recent Ebola crisis that affected several Western African countries last year. During that time, I had one of my non-African friends come up to me and tell me that he had cancelled his trip to South Africa because he was scared of catching Ebola there. This was literally my face. I was like, bruh, do you know how big Africa is? Do you know you can fit India, China, the United States, Mexico within Africa? This conversation really shocked me because I started thinking about what would happen if enough people decided not to travel to Africa, other African countries, based on something that was happening in only several Western African countries. Do you see how powerful perception can be? In recent times, African youth have taken to Twitter to share a different side of the story. In 2015, the hashtag "The Africa the Media Never Shows You" went viral and pictured young Africans tweeting photos from their countries, many of which were significantly different to what you see on TV. You see, for we African youth, we acknowledge Africa as it currently is, a place where death, disease, and despair do indeed exist. We, however, also acknowledge Africa for what it has always been, a beautiful continent with a vibrant energy, and what it has become, a future frontier characterized by trade, creativity, and entrepreneurship.